how do you manage that? And what does that mean? And how, so what I want people to not do is, let's not throw away the fullness of the cup because of the size of the cup.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My next question is, what do you think has happened to masculinity in today's culture? And who do you believe is responsible for how it has fallen?
Y'all coming heavy, man. Y'all coming heavy, dude. I think it's a huge issue. I think, what's the right word? Because I make up words. Demasculine. We're not.
That is a word. I thought that was wrong too, but I kept hearing people say it, so I had to look it up. It's emasculation, and there's demasculation too as well.
Both are real. Emasculation and demasculation are real. And I think I think we do have an enemy. I think there's an enemy, and I think there's we can go deep now. I think there's an enemy to the black male on the planet. And I think the reason why, because the black male is the original male. But why that is because if we can change the purpose of a thing, we lose the effect and the fruit of the thing. So the brother doesn't know who he is. He's been made effeminate. He's been, demasculated, emasculated, not understanding is thrown off his purpose. So because if we're going to make masculine a toxic thing, toxic masculinity you're going to make that an issue, then we're saying masculinity is bad. I don't believe that. I believe masculinity is good, but it's lost its way. Masculinity is not chauvinism. It's not domination. Masculinity is not control. Masculinity is the male man being who he was intended to be. Effeminate, I'm not a feminist, but I believe in feminine women. And I just told you my wife is at home cutting the grass. So femininity ain't about not doing male work, quote unquote. Femininity is about, why did the Most High give you these hormones? They're not bad. They're good. Why? Now let's use them properly, because we need masculinity and femininity. But if people don't know and now they're confused, we end up with not getting what we intended to produce. So I think the male man has to get back to proper masculinity. And I think that impartation has to come through both men and women. I think women, mothers, have to start realizing their sons need masculinity. And fathers have to be intentional about giving it to them. And that goes, the question wasn't about femininity, but I'd say the same thing about femininity.
So on the heels of what you just said about masculinity, my next question to you would be, what would be your advice to young men trying to enter into society? How would you best advise them to approach entering into the society so that they can make and have a proper impact based on that masculine gift and offering?
First of all, I'd say to young men in this, and it's a tough situation that we're in, is you got to start reading. So I'd say find a good book from a strong black man and read it, and then intentionally search out mentors. That ain't easy, and it's hard to put that weight on young people that you got to find your own mentor. But if I'm talking to a young man, my son and his friends, you need a mentor, a black man or a man. If you're a black male, I would prefer you a mentor by a black male, but it don't have to be. I've had non-black men teach me, impart to me. But you need a man imparting to you, right? And if you're a black male, depending on where you came from, you probably need a black male to even just understand your challenges, right? I would say, one, let's start reading. I want to give you some reading assignments. For me, growing in adulthood, I've had my niece and my nephews and sons, and I'll read The Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson. That was starting point for me. I've given more of those books out than I can think. All of my nephews, that's a requirement. You got to read The Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Let's start there. Now let's start reading some other thing. Brainwashed. That's another book I highly recommend to young teenage boys. Read. I can't remember the author, but the name of the book is called Brainwashed. it should be read by all young Black men, in my opinion. And these are just starting points. And go find somebody that you admire. Some good man that you admire. I don't care. Just go find him and just start talking to him. And just intentionally say, I want to just come by your house, by your shop, by whatever, once a week and just listen to you. I did that.
So over 3,000 of you joined us for our last episode of Man-Made Man podcast with real estate expert, Mr. Aaron Taylor. But one thing that I noticed there, out of those 3,000 people that watched on our very first episode, only 350 plus of you actually subscribed to the channel. I know you're busy and you were so intrigued by the content that you forgot to hit the like and subscribe button. But it would do us a great pleasure if you would hit the like and subscribe button right now. Study shows that only 1% of people actually hit the subscribe button on channels that they like. If you like what we're doing here, I would implore you to hit the subscribe button and like the video as well. Thank you.
The funny part is because I've been very active on the mentor thing and trying to get young men to understand that. And I've came across, they don't understand the dynamics of a mentor and mentee. They think that it should be on the mentor to reach out to them. And we had to tell them, no, it's up to the mentee to reach out and make sure that you build that relationship. It's never up to them. They are spending their time to impart inside you. So you need to put forth the effort. Like I told my wife, like we spend money to come see you. It's not the vice versa around. If I want to have you impart on me, I want to make sure that I put myself in your peer view to make sure that you give it to me. And I have to make sure that I put myself in your way. I want to aggravate you as much as possible.
You know, I agree with you 100%. And I say that because typically there are more mentees than mentors, so it's difficult. But we're in such a quagmire now, and we the depths of where we are, we got to get it however we can get it. So I'm speaking to both sides. Black men, you got to reach out to young Black boys, and yes, the Black youngsters got to reach up. But we can't. A lot of time, man, that's a heavy weight on our generation. These young people got a lot that they're carrying, and so many problems. I mean, I meet young men, you know, basically they're the responsible one in their homes. They're single family. They got a bunch of women all around them. They got heavy weights to bear, and they're trying to figure it out. And they struggling between the street and the church and the you know, the academic society. They're trying to figure all that out. You know, do I go in the military? Do I go to the streets? Do I go to school? Do I go get a job? And they won't give me a good job. And then you tell them, now you got to go find a mentor. It's hard. So I'm like, let's lead with love. Let's connect these dots as best we can. And let's do it one person at a time. And hopefully we'll get enough connection going on that 20, 30 years from now, we have some synergy and we have some community and we can see the fruit of this thing. You know,